Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And if you can hit the thumbs up, I'd appreciate that as well. If you'd like to participate on the discussion like Rick and Cindy and our tiny acres here, you can join me most weekdays where I go live at 4 p.m. Central Time. Or outside of my live stream, you could consider joining the Discord I created. There's a link for that down in the description below. It's a great place for you guys to share your stories or the meals you're eating, or just kind of reach out to me. The Discord's a great place to do that. Also, down in the description below, there is a link to a Pinterest board. That Pinterest board is a great place to check out some of the meals that our family, or me and Carrie, have been enjoying on our whole food plant-based diet. So check that link out if you're trying to get some meal ideas. Today is day 744 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 225 pounds so far. I am about halfway through the 25th month, so I have about 11 and a half months left to go. And I am looking forward to reaching my goals and then living the rest of my life at a healthy weight. Let's go ahead, switch over to the main here. A few comments early. Rick says, happy Monday, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend. Yes, I hope you had a great weekend, Rick, and I hope everybody else had a wonderful weekend. Winter has come to Florida. It was 62 degrees this morning. Brr. 62 degrees. I would love to see a 62 degree weather day. Now it's gotten to the point where we're seeing a lot of 30s and some 40s. I had to do some closing up of the pool yesterday to make sure that the lines didn't freeze, or I didn't have some issues because I forgot to do it last year and I ran into some issues with that. Cindy says, hi, everyone. Says there's clear skies along the central California coast this morning, 50 degrees at 10 a.m. You guys are, I need to move out to where you guys are. You got all the great weather. Pretty Girl's mom says hi on this marvelous Monday. 42 degrees up in Massachusetts. Lazy weekend, our tiny acre says. And then plant powered peddler Janet says, hey, John. Last few days here in Australia, cleaning and packing today, planning on what food to take on the plane. Yes, make sure you take lots of good foods with you, or that you can take, or make sure you fill your stomach up before you head to the airport. Maybe would help out as well. But yes, make sure you give yourself lots of good, healthy alternatives or healthy choices to eat while you are on the plane. Get some of those pocket potatoes. Yes, get some potatoes going. So this computer is going to continually drive me nuts because the focus is like way off. See, there you go. Now it's focused. I don't know how I'm going to be able to deal with that, but I'll do my best. So this weekend, it was a busy weekend and got a decent bit of stuff done. Plant powered peddler Janet says that it was a high of 83 in Perth today. So yes, I'm sure it's really nice down in the southern hemisphere. They're going into their summer. We're going into our winter. Real quick, I think what I'll do is run through the food that I took photos of this weekend. Let me start this here, see how things are going. If anybody has any issues with the connection or the audio, please let me know, but it seems to be doing well right now. Let me get to the right spot here. Go back to dinner on, it was Thursday. I streamed Friday, right? Friday. Here we go. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about eating and celebrating and things like that here in a second. But I did take a photo here. So this is me at the comic shop that my family runs, that we were celebrating moving into a new building. And I had brought some potatoes with me to eat. So that was me eating potatoes. Everybody else had lots of pizza and other options, but me and Carrie just cooked up some potatoes, and we had potatoes for the evening. So it's just a couple pictures of me eating a potato like an apple. I think you got to normalize eating potatoes like that. It's too many people look at me funny when I eat that way, and it should be normal to do that way. Carrie's checking in saying hello. Hello, Carrie. Hope everything's going great at home now. And Janet says, I look great. Well, thank you very much, Janet. I think you're talking to me. Maybe you're talking to Carrie, but let's see here. We brought the Instapot with us and cooked potatoes at the comic shop twice this weekend because we had two different events or two different things we had to go down there for. So we took the Instapot with us twice. Yeah, I figured you were talking about my picture there, Janet. Thanks, pretty girl's mom. Yes, it's I should make it my an Instagram photo. I should post that on Instagram or something. But yes, just a big old bite out of a potato. The next thing I have photoed here is breakfast yesterday. That's how awful I was at photos. I didn't take any photos on Saturday. So let me try to trace back my steps on what I would have had for food on Saturday. If I can get my camera to without. It's so weird that it like auto focuses and then yeah, better. I'm trying to think of tracing my steps on Saturday. It was a busy day. I know we were busy Saturday. We had an event for my son's Boy Scouts. So I think it was just maybe what did I have for dinner there before? Just had potatoes. Yeah, I think we just had potatoes, broccoli. Carrie had made, and I didn't take photo of it. I wrote the rosemary and bake sweet potato casserole. It's kind of brown rice, chickpeas, and sweet potatoes that are cooked together, and then there's some tahini in it. And I've been avoiding tahini for the past few months. I did have a little bit of tahini in that meal just to give it a little bit of moisture. I guess it's a very dry meal if you don't add a little bit of tahini to it. And then Cindy, I appreciate that. Yes, kind of dig each other. And so um and then Carrie's calling me out in the chat here that I did eat a lot of shredded wheat this weekend. We were running around a lot, and I ate a lot of shredded wheat. I think I ate the last of the shredded wheat, so unless we replace it, we don't have any more. Um, and for me, it's really just a meal that fills my gut and kind of satisfies me. I kind of do it with potato. You know, I eat a lot of potatoes, but I feel like it's I'm potato fed and shredded wheat finished every day, sort of like they do with beef. It's grass fed and grain finished. Throughout the day I eat potatoes, and then at the end of the day I eat the shredded wheat to just kind of fill my gut. Um, and it was rough because we didn't have oatmeal. Oh, okay. We had shredded wheat for breakfast. Yes, I had a lot of shredded wheat this weekend, and um, I'm not too worried about it. I eat a lot of pineapple, which is nice when I have the shredded wheat. I don't eat pineapple unless I'm having it with the shredded wheat. And then, so yesterday, I have a photo here of the oatmeal that we had for breakfast for yesterday. Carrie had made is it bolognese? Is that the right word? Bolognese. I think that's what she was making here. We've had this in the past. It is potato. Obviously, there's a big potato in the middle, and I have probably another potato underneath it here. And then this is a mix of carrots and mushrooms. And you're asking about my camera. My camera is driving me nuts because it is when I go to here, my camera's great. But then I got it really zoomed in here, so I can mess with it on stream here in a second. But this was the dinner that we had yesterday. That I ate quite a bit of that. That's just all of it kind of mixed together with the potatoes. And then for lunch today, so breakfast I had oatmeal. At lunch today, potatoes and broccoli, kind of our regular thing. I'll see what I can do with the camera here because I only have so much room before I run into. That's not the right thing. That's my exit screen. Let me see. This is the camera. So, oh, you know what? That's what happened. The screen got pulled down, so that should be a little bit better. I don't know how that screen got pulled down so much, but hopefully that works a little bit better. And centers my face. But yeah, it did get it got turned down. So it had been bugging me this whole stream. So it's not just you. I've been trying to keep myself upright and in frame as much as possible. So yeah, there was something with the tracking on there, something was off. So yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple different things. You know, the one thing I briefly mentioned was that we had kind of a special event this weekend that we were celebrating, and we had a couple kind of get-togethers with our family and the group of people that have been working with us. And we got together with the family on Friday evening, a little bit of an impromptu get together, but it was something that we all had kind of made plans. We had stuff set up. So we had ordered pizza for our kids, and then the other people ordered pizza for themselves, and everybody brought potato chips and veggie trays and fruit platters. And it was really kind of nice. There was a lot of good options for me when I got there. We had carrots and cherry tomatoes and cucumber slices and lots of fresh vegetables, which I imagine part of the only reason why we had those fresh vegetables there was because my family was attending, and we are vegan, or we eat a plant-based diet. So they brought, we got some of those vegetables or had those things so me and our kids could eat. Had we not been eating that way, or if that wasn't our diet or the way we eat, there definitely would have been a lot fewer vegetables at the event. It would have been mostly a pizza and potato chip kind of deal. But because we were going there, we were part of the event. We had, there was a bunch of food there, had some great fruit. It's been a little bit since I had blueberries and raspberries, just hadn't had an occasion that they were in front of me. Those were really good. Some strawberries. Actually ate a decent bit of strawberries this weekend. And so we ended up bringing a bag of potatoes in our Instapot, and we cooked some potatoes on Friday evening, and everybody was eating and snacking. And while we were playing like board games and things like that, I was not shy about having a potato in my hand like I did in that photo, and just eating a potato like an apple. And I feel like I'm setting a good example. I have friends and family members that were at that event that I would love for them to adopt this way of eating, or show interest in eating this way. And like I said, I want to be a good example, and I want people to see, because there was some family at the thing that I had not seen in a year, probably, or since last Christmas, or at least 6 to 8 months. And I'm thinner now than I was the last time I saw them. So they noticed that I had lost weight, obviously, because I've lost a lot of weight over this time. But when that person sees that I've lost weight, then in their head, they're going to be thinking, well, I wonder what he did to lose weight, or how did he lose weight? They may even ask me what I did to lose weight, and I would tell them. But what I see, what I've done in the past and what I've seen happen in other people is that you have this great weight loss success, and then you have this function, this get together for Thanksgiving that's coming up, or something like we had for our business, and you use that as an excuse to cheat a little. I'll allow this into my diet, or I'll let myself have that. And for you, that is a cheat moment. That is just like, I decided that I'm going to allow myself to have these potato chips, or I'm going to allow myself to have this candy. And it's a cheat moment for you, but those people that are at the event that you might be influencing, that they might be looking at and saying, how can I lose weight like John lost weight? And then they're watching me, whether they're consciously or they just subconsciously, but they're seeing what I eat. And if I am eating junk food, then to them, that can mean a few different things, but from the surface, it looks like, oh, that junk food is on his diet. He lost all this weight. He's eating that junk food. He must be able to eat junk food to lose weight. And that's not the case a lot of times if you're looking to lose weight. And so for me, when I go to these public events or these family events, I feel that I will be a much better influence if I'm sticking to my diet. People will see what I'm actually doing instead of what I allow, these cheat days or these cheat moments. And it sucks to not have all the snack food that everybody's eating, but at the same time, being 500 pounds really sucked too. And being 290 pounds is much more enjoyable than being 520 pounds ever was. Uh, and it's in the food. I don't really feel like I'm missing anything with the food. Uh, I see what other people are getting to eat, but there's no flavors that are on that table that I've never tasted before. There's nothing that would surprise me by how it tasted. Um, because I've had so many of those things in the past, and just eating a plain potato, or even my lunch today was potatoes and broccoli, and it's extremely satisfying. It's a dumb, simple meal, but it still satisfies me on a day-to-day basis. And I'm actually thinking about how I can increase my potato consumption, because it would help me reduce the consumption of the stuff like shredded wheat, which isn't the worst thing that I could be eating, but I could be eating something like potatoes instead, which would probably be a better choice than the bowl of shredded wheat. And so yeah, I just feel like when you're on a diet, that when you go to these events, everybody uses them for reasons to cheat or reasons to fall off your diet. And to me, I feel like I need to use those events for as an even they're even more important for me to be on diet at those events, because I want to set a good example, especially now that I've lost over 200 pounds, because people are going to take more notice of how I'm doing or what I'm doing because of the success that I've seen. If I was 10 pounds into my weight loss, then I maybe wouldn't worry about it so much. But like I said, I am on the bottom half of it, and at least. Cindy here says that you have not cheated in 11 months when you started a whole food plant-based vegan. It's not worth it and can be a gateway to go off of the rails. Yes. And it's tough to there's different forms of, like that's what's really uh kind of maybe messes me up a little bit, because a lot of times in the past, cheating on your diet was going over a calorie level, like reaching, eating 2,500 calories instead of 1,500 calories is cheating on your diet. Some of those diets, like the ketos, where you're not eating any carbohydrates, those diets, are very hard to sustain. Uh, but I've done similar diets to that where it's kind of going off your diet. What I found with this diet is that there's such a, I always say that I crossed two different diet thresholds when I started eating this way. The first diet threshold was that, I'm no longer eating any animal products. So I'm eating a vegan diet. And there's more than two. um, the next threshold is that I'm eating a whole food plant-based diet. So then you're getting rid of a lot of the processed foods when you're eating a whole food plant-based diet. And then another threshold is eating a whole food plant based without oil, which is very common. And then whole food plant based with no sugar or oil. And then with my diet, I eat a whole food plant based with no salt, oil, or sugar. And I am right now in a position where I am dead set on sticking to that no salt, oil, or sugar. There's occasions where something has salt in it, like the canned beans sometimes would have salt, or the um there's somewhere else that there's some odd, that we try to avoid anything that has salt. But for me, since I started this, I have not gone back to eating any animal agriculture, any animal products. So I've stayed vegan. And then I guess I'm on, what is it? Day I gosh, I haven't I've been counting it here. 75 of my diet reset, where I have been sticking to the salt, oil, sugar, and and really it's I think it frustrates Carrie, because there's times where we'll have something that has a little bit of salt that she has like put on top of something, that I'll just eat it without that topping or whatever, because it's possible. But yes, Carrie says amazing. Cindy, keep it going as long as you can. It is a slippery slope once you allow any less healthy, even less healthy vegan foods back in. Once you give into that temptation, it is hard to kind of right the ship again. But I think that things that make it easier to right the ship is to eat a large volume of food, and after you eat something that is off diet, shove yourself full of on diet food as much as you can. Also, having your stomach full will help keep you from succumbing to that temptation in the first place as well. Plant powered peddler Janet says, you've been on course since July of 2020. That is awesome, Janet. Yeah, for me, I really need to chain those days of good habits together, and I just said how many days I was on, and very happy with that so far. Um, Janet says that you're an addict, and one is too much because it is never enough. One is too much because it's never enough. That is a great saying, and can, yeah, rings true in many ways. And it's the uh, just the world we live in. So, um, let me see what else I had. Just been keeping myself busy. I feel like I have been getting a lot done. Yesterday, kind of got up and did some house cleaning and got moving in the morning, get myself active. And then today at work, I was very active again all day at work. So, it's not any specific thing that I'm doing to be more active, but I have just been overall more active or more, engaging in things outside of my phone or videos on my computer here. Alicia's Healing Channel says, "Hi, I'm stuck with weight loss. You're eating starches, no fat, and veggies, but you're not moving on the scale or can't fit the same." Yeah, Alicia, there's a lot that goes into it here. The I guess, how much more weight are you looking to lose? Are you close to a goal weight, or are you far away from a goal weight? Have you lost weight up to this point, to where we're at now? Um, and I see here you said you're eating a lot of starches, no fats. You're eating veggies, but the scale is not moving for you. It's a slow process, for one. That's part of the reason why I challenged myself to do this for 3 years, because I knew that whatever I was going to do was going to take time to succeed. I'd be interested to know what kind of sodium level that you have. Like, do you restrict salt, or do you eat salt with your food? Um, and you know, look at the calorie density of the food that you're eating. If you were to take up, and add up all of the food you eat, all of the calories, and then take the weight of all that food and divide the calories by the weight, how many calories per pound is the food that you're eating through the day? Um, because you could be having some meals that are great, very low calorie meals, but then they could be getting bombed by anything that has oil in it. The first, once you put a tablespoon of oil into food, you're going to up the calorie content by hundreds of calories. And Plant Powered Peddlers asking if you're eating enough. Yes, a lot of people get very concerned with the volume of food that they're eating. And they want to lose weight, so they start eating less food. And I think that can you can it can lead to weight loss, but it really leads to very hard mental struggles, because you're fighting the scale, especially if you're eating high calorie dense foods. But your body also holds on to the food that's in there. So if you're not bringing in new food, it's going to hold on to the old food till new food comes in. Something that uh, I haven't flushed out or really kind of thought a whole lot in depth on, but something that people don't realize is that at any point in time, there is pounds of food in your body, undigested or mid digested or completely digested. But there are pounds of food in our body, in our small intestine, in our large intestine, in our stomach, colon, all of that. And that weight of that food can vary. Today, I could have 4 pounds of food in my body that's not technically fat or skin or bone or muscle, or it's separate from my body, but it's inside of me, that when I get on the scale, it gets weighed. um I may have 4 pounds of food in my body today, and tomorrow when I get on the scale, I might have 4.5 pounds of food in my body, because I had a bunch of stress and my body is holding on to that food because of stress, or I had a bunch of more water that day than I did the day before, so there's a bunch of fluid in there. And so that weight of the food in my stomach, instead of being 4 pounds, is 4.5 pounds. But then I get on the scale and I gained 2/10 of a pound, let's say. That actually means that I've lost 3/10 of a pound since the day before, but because I have a half pound more of food in my body, the scale looks like it went up. And so there's a little bit of that too, but what I guess my point is with it is that what we have to do is we have to get to a point where our stomachs are full, and that weight variance isn't there, because when I fasted, the weight in my body got down to zero. I had zero extra weight in my body. The first time I ate, and I see people that fast and they get worried that, I fasted and then I gained 10 pounds after I fasted. Well, of course you gained some weight after you fasted. You have undigested food in your stomach that you're comparing to your weight now with undigested food in it to the person who had no undigested food in their body. So of course you're going to have a little bit of a weight gain. So I guess, and the reason why I'm asking, because Plant Powered Peddler asked if you're eating enough food, that while you're in that transition to eating enough food, you may see your body weight go up a little bit. But if that food is lower than 600 calories per pound in calorie density, you're not going to gain weight because of your diet. And that's another thing too, is that you are stuck with weight loss. Does that mean that you're staying the same, or does that mean you're gaining weight? Because for me, something that I had to reflect on, because I spent kind of the whole second year, or most of the second year of this challenge, at within 20 pounds or 30 pounds of the same weight. And when I look back at the end of that second year, I have to realize that that is the first time for a year-long period that I ever maintained any weight. The thing that I've always been trapped in with all of these previous diets is that low-calorie diet mentality, eating as little as possible so that you lose as much weight as possible. And what it did was it I had two different phases in my life as an adult. There was two different things I was doing. I was either eating a ridiculously high calorie diet, going to fast food and gas stations and eating out pizza and making macaroni and cheese at home. And every day that I was eating, I was gaining weight. I was gaining 0.2 of a pound, half a pound every single day, and then that's what got me up to 520 pounds. But throughout the time, I would lose weight. I've had multiple occasions where I've lost between 50 and 80 and even 100 pounds in the past. And in order to lose that weight, I had to eat these super restrictive, low calorie diets. At one time, I was taking an appetite suppressant that was prescribed to me by a doctor, and I was eating like a 600 calorie diet. And the weight was falling off and I was feeling amazing. But what ended up happening was that as soon as I couldn't take that prescription anymore, as soon as I couldn't sustain that diet anymore, I went back to eating like somebody who is 520 pounds. And that's what got me to 520 pounds. So for me to look back at my year two and say, I started off year two at 319 pounds. I ended year two at 299 pounds or something like that. But I lost about 20 pounds in that second year. That's the first year I ever maintained a weight loss. First time I ever maintained my weight. So I have to look at that and see some success in that. Like, while I wish I would have lost weight, I wish I was at my goal now. I wish I would have lost 10 pounds every month in year two. Looking back, I can say I maintained my weight every month for a year. And I didn't even really work that hard to do it. Like, I had occasions where I ate junk food and I didn't do great, but I was still able to maintain the weight. So, if you have been maintaining weight, there is some success in that. You say here that you do eat a lot, but you're not dropping weight. You lose a few and gain it back for 2 months. Now you've been at a plateau. Did you lose a lot of weight to get to where you're at now? or are you still kind of at your start weight? Because that's something that I did too. And that's, if I were to write out a diet plan or diet program, I've talked to Carrie about this in the past, that, I almost have to mimic it off of what I've done or look at what I've done. And I would say that the first thing to do is to get on the diet and stick to the diet as long as you possibly can, just like Janet says she's been on since July of 2020, and Cindy was saying that she's been doing it for 11 months or whatever Cindy said. Lost my mouse here. Yeah, 11 months. Like, hold on to it as long as you can, because that's what I did. And I lost 200 pounds very rapidly. You don't have to do the water fasting. I would recommend doing something to reset your palate, but lose as much weight as you can as fast as possible, and then hit that year mark like I did, and maintain it. If you lose weight, if you can continue to hold on to that success, do it, but work at maintaining your weight. If you can't handle staying at that same volume you were eating or the same foods that you were eating, and you got to get something changed up, or you got to try something, work on maintaining that weight and doing what you have to do to maintain it. And then now this final year for me, I feel like I can take everything that I've learned over the past 24 months, kind of put it together and create a program that works for me to get the weight off. And so I would, just based off of what we've talked about, I would look at your calorie density of the food that you're eating. I would not shy away from eating large volumes of potato and rice. And if you eat larger volumes of potato and rice, it may help reduce the volume of the higher calorie dense foods that you're eating. If you haven't gotten rid of oil already, I would get rid of oil 100%. And if you can give up salt and sugar, I think it makes a difference. Salt leads to overeating and water retention. I can tell immediately when I have anything that has a lot of salt in it. I gained 3 pounds like right away, just because my body's not used to having that in there. So when it does get a large quantity of it, I see a large reaction. Janet here says that they had to give up flour, sugar, salt, alcohol, oil, and caffeine. Yep. But you love that you're off all of the drugs. You're drug free, no more of that addictive food. Yes, that's another part, like the flour, sugar, salt, alcohol, oil, caffeine, all of those things are, a more processed versions of these foods. You can find, you don't have to, it's just the flour, sugar, salt is just very refined versions of larger foods. So if you can avoid that, that would be great. And I really feel like she mentions being that drug free. I really feel like I am drug free, and where I feel it too is that when I go to those events, like I talked about, where everybody's around and they all have their hands in the potato chip bags and they all have their cake and their snacks and their candies, and they're going back and back and back to the table, and I'm able to avoid those temptations, and I see that addict that comes out in everybody, especially see it in my kids. When you start busting out the sugar, or one person gets something that another person doesn't get, then you get jealous, and it's the whole thing. And that doesn't just happen with our kids, it happens as adults too. You see that skinny relative of yours eating that cake, and then you get jealous that they get to have cake, and so then you eat the cake too because of your jealousy of them. And there's a million different things, different reasons. So I think I'm gonna get out. I'm glad I got my camera fixed because that was really annoying. So and it had been like that for a couple streams now too. Alicia, there's a lot that goes into it. I would maybe recommend getting onto our Discord, and maybe we could have a longer conversation through the Discord. Um, but look at the calorie density. Sounds like you're eating a good volume of food. Um, and be patient. I mean, I plateaued for a full year at least throughout the middle of this challenge. Like, and I was frustrated, but the whole time I kind of knew what was happening. Like, I would know that I didn't lose weight this week, or I gained a couple pounds this week because of my actions throughout the week. And that's something that I've learned and been very um happy about in this. The last week, I guess, is a little bit different, but um that when I'm on diet, my weight goes down and it works out for me. So Tennyson, young girl, thanks. I am gonna get out of here. Cindy, yep, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate all you guys being on here, asking questions. I want everybody to figure it out what they need to do. It's uh I think that there's a lot of under eating that happens in these diets, and this diet allows you to eat that volume to get that sustainable uh lifelong diet. Like, so many of the diets I did in the past were not sustainable. Great for weight loss. Lots of great weight loss diets out there. Very few diets that are great for living, great for lifestyle. And this truly is a diet that I'm going to eat the rest of my life. And there's great examples of people out there already that are doing it too. So many of these diets that people are saying to go do, they don't have any great role models. There's nobody you can look to and say, well, that guy's been doing it for 15 years. That guy's been doing it for 20 years. And with this diet, there are some great examples of people that have been doing it for a long time. So, I appreciate all you guys. I will be live tomorrow, then weigh in on Wednesday. I don't know if I have anything that gets in the way. I guess it gets in the way, but I'm planning on going live all this week. You guys are amazing. If you have not subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you have not clicked on the bell icon to get alerted when I go live or post new videos, click on the bell icon. If you haven't hit the thumbs up and commented down below, do both of those things for me. And if you haven't started your diet yet, get started now. There's nothing coming up. I mean, if you get started today, you can, by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, you can say, I'm already 10 days into my diet. I've already started. I'm 10 days in. You're 10 days further along than the version of yourself that is pretending like they're going to start it on the Monday after Thanksgiving, or on Black Friday, or the day after Thanksgiving. No, get started now. Next year, when Thanksgiving happens, are you going to let it get in the way of your diet? If you've succeeded and over the year from now until next Thanksgiving, you've lost 90% of the weight you're looking to lose, or even half the weight you're looking to lose, are you going to let next Thanksgiving get in the way of your diet? Why are you letting this Thanksgiving get in the way? So get started right now. Nobody gets to their goals, looks back, and wishes they would have waited. Everybody wishes they would have started sooner. So that can be you too if you get started right now. You guys all have a great evening.